This is the Median Valley on Wednesday. These exclusive pictures show for the first time how this tranquil location in the heart of the Swat Valley is inundated by millions of gallons of
continue to
rainwater.
wreak havoc in Pakistan as the worst monsoon rains in decades cut off Swat Valley.
Raging floodwaters are tearing through the region, destroying bridges and roads and isolating Swat from the rest of Pakistan. According to authorities, landslides triggered by the country's worst floods in 80 years have added to the isolation of many areas.
In Pakistan, August 2010 saw the worst flooding the world had ever seen. It was caused by unusually heavy monsoon rains. The water at its highest covered an area the size of England, and this area included some of the country's best agricultural land. As many as 20 million people, over 10% of the country's population, were affected by this catastrophe. DCA supports aid to this area through the Church World Service, which is a part of the ACT Alliance. Shabna Ishaq is a social organizer working for CWS in the village of Jugargal, UC Madian. During the floods, she lost her brother-in-law as well as 3 houses and 40 canals of fertile land. Her husband is out of work and therefore she is the family's only breadwinner.
I work as a social organizer here. The scene you are looking here is Cash for Work.
As a local woman who has joined the NGO, she has made the work of CWS much easier as she gained people's confidence and helped the process of establishing village communities of women.
Cash for Work basically targeted those people who don't have land. They have no other source of earning. They don't have shops. And they rely only on the daily wage. So due to the flood, all the market system, it was disturbed, and they have no other way to find some jobs for themselves.
Cash for Work is a program donating money for relief work in the Swat Valley. Local committees provide work for those whom they judge to have the greatest need, for example, those without land. The projects must be for the general good of the community, for example, dikes to protect from flooding. Naik Mohammed is 28-year-old. He is a polio victim and almost paralyzed. He tried unsuccessfully to find work in a bigger town. His local village committee recommended he should get cash grants to start a small business. This has been a great success. It may be small, but he is planning to expand into a general store with 2 or 3 assistants to help him. Shahida Bibi from the village of Jugargal has 6 children. They all have asthma. Before the floods, she and her husband had a shop selling clothes, but they lost everything, house and shop. After CWS started up the program in their village, she was selected as a beneficiary for cash grants so she could start a new business. Now she can support herself and her family. She also takes care of this little boy who she found abandoned in a cemetery. The local community allows her to do this as she was the only person that wanted him.
The voucher schemes basically target the agriculture farmers.
Vouchers are a system to stimulate and also control the supply of the special products necessary after a catastrophe. Vouchers cannot be cashed but just exchanged for particular goods. An agreement is made with the supplier to provide the essential tools, that is picks. Vouchers are traded for goods and CWS DCA refund the price to the dealer. Zahoor Ahmed is 32-year-old. During the floods, he lost his house and all his land and was therefore unable to support his family. He was selected as a voucher scheme beneficiary. This made it possible to buy the necessary seeds, fertilizers and farming tools. He hopes that the sale of his produce will enable him to rebuild his house and invest in further production of food crops.
There's a new law in part of Pakistan. It's the Taliban's, and it's close to medieval.
After Talibanization, the very first target they did is they destroyed all the schools and colleges so that the women could not get educated.
The conflict has affected women more in Swat as compared to men and children especially.
The women were not allowed to give a birth to her child in a hospital. No treatment in the hospital. Whatever they will be doing at their home. So they were not allowed to come out.
If any of the women is seen, even with burqa or veil, outside the house, she was just punished publicly.
So many people were slaughtered here, right in the chowks, in the bazaar, just to terrify the people. So the people, started following them because of the terror and all that. So that was the time when the government decided that let's we take them into task before they come into the power.
After months of hard fighting, the Pakistani army regained control of the area in 2009.
Once the militants were pushed out by the security forces, people, women and girls, they are still scared. They are still apprehensive. Women mobility, now we can see women in the bazaars and the markets here and there, but still they have fear in the back of their mind. And bringing women in the forefront as a beneficiary in decision making is still challenging.
Peace of a kind was restored and rebuilding was possible. But not long after came the floods, and all the attempts to rebuild were destroyed. People were back where they started. After the floods, DCA, together with local colleagues from ACT Alliance, Church World Service, immediately arranged the setting up of both stationary and mobile health clinics in Swat. Teams of doctors and healthcare workers treat more than 100,000 injured and also treat diarrhea and malaria. Dr. Saida is a medical officer who has worked for CWS for the last 6 months. Being local, she wants passionately to serve the disaster-affected communities of Swat.
After the flood and conflict, architecture got destroyed. There was no buildings where you can work, where doctor can sit and prescribe medicine. Secondly, there were no medicine. So two things. Third, there was increased diseases. Fortunately, some of the pathetic people, some of the very kind people, polite people from all over the world donated funds to these people.
People of Swat have great potential, I must say. They have suffered from 2 major disasters just within 2 years. And still, if you look at their faces, they are optimistic. But if we look at the devastations, at the damages and the needs, they are greater than what they can do at their own.
When